Hello. So today I'm going to make chocolate chip cookies. These are little, they're tiny, they're crunchy. They don't have any egg in them. They are good for Alpha-Gal. I'm going to show you first what ingredients I use. Right now I have butter in my mixing bowl already getting fluffy. I have Country Crock plant butter. I use 2 sticks of that. Into that I will add 3/4 a cup of sugar and 3/4 a cup of light brown sugar. Those are going to go in the mixing pan together, and those are, if you're sugar reactive with Alpha-Gal, make sure you pay attention to what you can and can't use. The C&H sugar with these specific lot numbers have been just fine for me, but I don't think I'm really sugar reactive, so I don't worry about that. But if you are, pay attention. So now I'm going to go ahead and add those in there here in a second. To that, we will also need all-purpose flour. Always use King Arthur or anything else that is not enriched, because if it's enriched, it's not any good. So King Arthur flour. We're going to use pure baking soda. We're going to use aluminum-free baking powder. We're going to use salt, and we're going to use my homemade vanilla, or just get vanilla extract. And for the chips, we are going to use Enjoy Life mini chips, because they do not have any, they're dairy-free and all sorts of allergen-free. So I've already got my butter in here that is going, and now I'm going to add my brown sugar. I have 3/4 a cup of brown sugar already added in here. So I'm going to put that in there and let that start mixing. I am then also going to add 3/4 a cup of regular sugar. I always keep my sugar just in this container because it's a lot easier to deal with, and I just refill it from the bag. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So the key to a good chocolate chip cookie is to let the butter mixture, it had to have been at room temperature to start with. I set it out about an hour beforehand. It was at room temperature, so then you put the room temperature butter in here, let it fluffen up by itself for a little bit, and then add your butter and let it kind of cream and be all fluffy too. Sometimes you have to get the side and get the extra butter off so it all mixes in good. Turn it off for just 1 second. Okay. So now to that mixture, I'm going to add my egg substitute. My egg substitute is liquid that I'm going to use instead of egg, which then makes the cookies crunchy. I did forget that you do need light olive oil. I use Walmart light olive oil. And also we need water. So for my egg substitute, I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of water. This is my clean reverse osmosis water that I filter. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. 1, 2, because I technically would need 2 eggs for this recipe, and I don't use eggs, so that's why we're doing so much of this. And then on top of that, we are going to add in our baking powder. We're going to use, let's see, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. This is a 1/2 tablespoon measuring, so I'm going to do 2 of those to make it 1 full tablespoon, because my tablespoon was all wet. Now you stir that together, let it dissolve and get kind of bubbly. As you can tell, my mixer is still going over here, combining that sugars and butter all together, so that's important that you do that. And you stir that up a little bit more. And pour that into my mixture, because you need the extra liquid for all this flour we're about to add. Okay. Oh, and also turn your oven to 375 and let that start preheating. My oven just got to 375 and it's preheated. Okay, so now my egg mixture is in there. Now I'm going to add in some vanilla. I use 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. Make your own with these vanilla beans that you get off of Amazon, and then buy you some vodka and put it together. I will make a video eventually of how you do that. But if not, just buy you some vanilla extract. I need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to put in this mixture too. Okay, and that's going to keep going. Now I'm going to get my dry ingredients together. I've already got 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose King Arthur flour in here. To that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now, when you add in your baking soda, if it's clumpy, which where I live half the time because of the humidity, it does make it clumpy, get you some flour in there and sift it all together so you don't have the clumps of baking soda. This is a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm going to do 2 of these to make it a full teaspoon. Okay. And I'm just going to do that to make sure I don't have any clumps of that baking soda left, because clumpy baking soda doesn't taste good, because you can taste it in your cookie if you don't get it unclumpy and mixed together all the way. Okay, so that is now all mixed together. I want to give that a little bit of a stir. And now I'm going to slowly add the flour to this mixture. This mixture is very puffy and pretty. Let me turn it off and get the edges kind of cleaned off. And put back on the inside. As you can see, this is the texture of my butter and sugar mixture with the egg and stuff. It is very white. It is very fluffy. That is the texture you want it to get to before you start adding in your flour. You can do this without the mixer. You have to really stir it a whole lot, and you're not going to get quite as fluffy. So I'm guessing they are not going to be quite as crispy. I'll turn that back on for just a second. Now I'm going to slowly start adding the flour mixture. After I get the flour mixture, then I will take it out and I will add the mini chocolate chips to it. So I will be back in just a minute. Okay, so here we go. I now have added my chocolate chips to the cookie dough. As you can see, it's mini chocolate chips. Looks really, really good. I then took my little cookie pans. I have cookie sheets that are smaller than a normal size. They're 13.25 by 9.25 inches. And so they are where you can put 2 in the oven at the exact same time. I do little scoops with it. I use my cookie scoop. It is this one right here, but you can use just a spoon if you want. But this one measures 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon is what makes it so pretty and makes them even, and makes them cook more even, and makes them the right size. But, you know, do what you can. They still are going to taste good. So now I'm going to put these in the oven at 375. I've got them in the middle of the oven. I've got my shelf in the middle of the oven, and I'm going to let them cook for 8 to 10 minutes, depending on your oven. Take them out, let them cool for 2 minutes, and then transfer them to a cookie sheet. And then after that, they are all done, ready to eat. During that time, I will then use the other 2 cookie sheets I've got, fill them up so I can just make a cycle. These will end up making about 7 dozen cookies of this size. And so it's quite a bit for a gathering. So it works out really good. I'll be back here shortly whenever these cookies get done to show you the final result. And by the way, I'm wearing a hat and my gloves because I'm making these tonight for our church youth group. And so since I'm cooking for other people, I don't really want my hair in it or, you know, germs as much as I can help. So that's why I've got my gloves on and I've got my hat on. See you shortly. Okay, this batch of cookies is almost done. I have 12 seconds left. It has been 10 minutes exactly. I don't know how your oven does, but that's how my oven does. It's just perfect. And here we go. Here's what they look like when they are being cooked and when they are done. The top is still a little white. The bottom is a little bit brown. They're a little fluffy. They will squish down. Here's my new ones that I've already plated again. Put them in the oven. See how these pans fit just perfectly side by side in my oven? That's because they're a little bit smaller than normal sheet pans. And so now I'm going to let that cook. There's the finished ones. I'll let them set for about 2 minutes. And here are what they look like whenever they are done. They are nice and crispy. These are probably kind of cool. So here's this. And if you break it, you can kind of sort of see they are a little bit crispy and yummy. So thank you. Hello. So a few last minute thoughts. I just finished cooking. I got 7 dozen and 1. But those are done cooking. The last little bit is chilling. Got the rest of these cookies here. So that's about how much it makes, is of that size of cookies. This is also something you can do if you want to, if you don't want to cook all of them all at once. You know how I had them in the little balls? Put them in the little balls, put them in the refrigerator or in the freezer. Once they get frozen, you can take out 6 of them that you want, put them in your toaster oven and cook them. And you have a wonderful little dessert for your evening without having to eat the whole entire batch. And of course, eating the whole entire batch is a good thing, but it's not always healthy. So that's what I was going to show you. Here is the finished product. Cookies look great. They're nice and little. And I hope you guys have fun making this and enjoy your cookie recipe.